So what I think about is CPMAI phase 1, business understanding, figuring out what problem you're trying to solve. And, and it always comes back to this. There's 6 phases in each iteration. Phases 1, 2, and 3 are going to be 80% of each of your iterations. Why? Because they're really critically important. Sometimes people go, well, what should I start with? Figuring out the problem or figuring out my data? And I go, well, what does CPMAI say? It says figure out the problem. Why? Because if you don't know what problem you're solving, you don't know what data you need. And then you don't know what your return on investment is going to be. And you don't know you don't know all of the downstream effects. So really start with business understanding, figuring out what problem you're trying to solve. And then controversial, AI is not always the right solution to every single problem. People want it to be, but it's not.
Thank you. That's a daring statement, and I'm proud of you for saying it, because I was suspecting that, and that's what I'm telling a lot of people, and I'm glad to hear somebody of your stature saying the same thing. Which is, by the way, not cutting down AI at all in its overall potential. It's just being honest. Depending on your situation, you need to know, does it fit into your context, yes or no?
Right. And because it's hot and shiny, right, and a buzzword, everybody wants to make AI fit their problem. So what I say is, what problem are you trying to solve? If you don't know if AI is the right solution, you look to the 7 patterns of AI, which is why it's so important we put it as its own e-learning course. So if you have not gotten certified, still take that course, right? And so, okay, so now we figure out what problem it is. I had said that autonomous vehicles, right? The autonomous pattern is a pattern of AI. The goal of that pattern is to remove the human from the loop. Obviously, that's going to be incredibly hard. Automation is not the same as autonomous. Automation is taking a task and repeating it over and over. People confuse those two terms and use them interchangeably, but they're not. So if you need automation, that's not an AI problem. That's an automation problem. Automation is incredibly important and powerful. It's just not AI. That's okay. Don't make it be AI. So I say, figure out what problem you're trying to solve. If you don't know, you look to the 7 patterns. If it fits into one or more of the 7 patterns, then you know that it's a good fit for an AI solution, right? And then now we go on, then we have an AI go, no go, which asks a series of 9 questions. We treat them like traffic lights. So if you answer yes, your chances of success are high. If you answer maybe, it's like a yellow, right? Go is green, like good, you're good to go. Yellow or amber is proceed with caution. And then red is, well, we're not telling you to not move forward, but the more reds you have, the more chance of project failure, right? So it's around data, business, and implementation feasibility. And there's, just like I said, a series of 9 questions. They're short questions, but you have to make sure you're answering them. Okay, so we've answered all of them. We're green. We're good to go. Then move forward with an AI project. Maybe in phase 1, you realize this isn't an AI project. It just may be quicker and cheaper for human labor. That's okay too, right? Maybe it's kind of a one-off project. This is why it's so incredibly important to walk through CPMAI, especially with phase 1, really be critical in there, answer these questions. And that's why the workbook helps, because it helps you answer the series of questions that you're supposed to be addressing and documenting it as well.
Yeah. So you would agree with me that that you should know what the business case is before you get yourself into the AI space.
Yeah, because otherwise, how do you even solve for it? I mean, you should know what your business case is before you move forward with anything that you're investing in, right? If you don't know what problem you're solving, if you don't know what you're trying to accomplish, if you can't measure what your KPIs will be, what your expected ROI will be, it could start being negative ROI. ROI doesn't have to be positive. When you start getting negative ROI, that's when people start going, what's going on, right? We're really behind in budget and in time for this project. And there's a ton of sunken costs into this.
I have to ask you this cliched question. It's a cliched question. You might even roll your eyes a little bit, at least subtly. But it's a question I think that the viewers won't accept if I don't ask it.